I'm a big fan of the Harry Potter books and all these other books that are for kids about magic and all that stuff. I like all those fairy tales and kind of like wonder epic strategies of good versus evil and all that. But usually the thing that drives me crazy about all those stories is they have a certain notion of magic. Magic is something supernatural. Magic is something that you do with a magic wand and that you don't do every day. Hold on just a second here. I'm going to break out a magic wand. But any day I can go to a store and I buy a lot of polyethylene pipe. We use it around here to carry spring water or well water and do plumbing and move water around the community. Polyethylene is very inert. It's not very toxic in its production or in its release. We use it over PVC. And I try to hunt it down instead of PVC, and it's kind of a pain in the rear end. But I like that. But I can go into a store and I can go abracadabra. Could you do me a favor? Could you really quick go up to Canada and drill and get a bunch of natural gas? Could you bring that natural gas down in a pipeline, and could you crack that natural gas and turn that into ethyl alcohol, and then turn the ethyl alcohol into ethylene, and then take the ethylenes and put them in a chain called polyethylene into little bubbles you fill carts on a train with, and then ship that to a factory near Asheville, North Carolina, where they heat these little bubbles of polyethylene, these little popcorn pellets, and they heat it up to 400 degrees, right? And they put a vacuum tube up against it, and the vacuum tube, it sucks that liquid polyethylene right out into a tub of water, which immediately cools it into that pipe shape, and it just keeps sucking, and that's how they get that long polyethylene pipe. Abracadabra. I just did that. I just went up to Canada, got the natural gas. I did this every single step. Abracadabra, abracadabra, abracadabra. We're all magicians. We're all doing this every freaking day. And you can vote. You can do whatever you want to do. You can go to political rallies. But this is the most magical thing you have at your disposal. You can buy a wrap over here. The sweet potatoes in this wrap were grown by Casey McKissick. Is that true? I think the sweet potatoes were grown by you, by Foothills Farm. The pork and the chicken was definitely grown by you and Meredith. The pork, if you get the pork, was pig raised by Andy and Julie. Julie's in the hat over there. And they fed the pig all compost from the local school. And you can give your money to them, and that helps these people stay in business. And I've heard a farmer out in Washington State, he says, the food that you eat and the wine that you drink are the landscapes that you create. You're a magician. Harry Potter's not the only magician here. Every single one of you is a magician. And you are farming, and you are crafting landscapes, and you are crafting and co-creating this world. Your vote is minimal in the face of all that. Your vote is minimal. Wow, I really appreciate all these people listening to me. It's kind of crazy.
You go, Chris.
Like, amen.
Well said.
So I want to say one more thing about the magic of money. And it's this. I want to say one more thing. We have a myth in America, and the myth is that we have a separation of church and state. And what I want to introduce to you is a notion that no, in fact, we do not have a separation of church and state. That almost every American I've ever met worships the same God. You might not know what I'm talking about now, but you will in a second, because it's going to start making sense. If you start paying attention, there's altars and temples to this God everywhere. Frickin' everywhere. You go to these temples and altars every day. And you and I go every day and make sacrifices to this God. And I sacrifice the world in order to appease this God. This God is a war God. It's a male war God. And the male war God has a name. And his name is the cheapest price. And his altars and temples are every cash register, and every credit card machine, and every buy now button on the internet. That's an altar and a temple. And the question you have to ask yourself, am I laying the world down and sacrificing the world in order to appease the war God at the cheapest price here? Or am I going to support my local friends, family members, community members, make this world a beautiful place, bring the health of our forests and our farms and our rivers and our creeks and our air back? Those are the choices we have, folks. And I appreciate you listening so much. Thanks for your time and attention.